I hope you're not too tired of listening yet, but I'll make it quick. My name is Janni, and I work as a growth hacker at Founders. And I'm here to tell you about what we learned from our failures we make at our early stage startups. And from listening to the very experienced guy who have already been talking, I might not be the most experienced here, but I'm pretty sure I'm the most experienced when it comes to learning from failing. I have been part of 3 startups at Founders, where 2 of them have failed. At least they ended up shutting down. And I want to tell you what we learned from that, and also how we use failing as a process at Founders. Yep. But first, I want to tell you a little bit about who Founders is and how we work. To those of you who don't know, Founders is a startup studio that builds companies, and we aim to build 5 companies each year. And the way that we build the companies and optimize our companies is by using our platform, where we store all our learnings. And what's really unique about the platform is that it's sort of a memory bank where we write down everything in order to constantly understand why, but also to keep focus on what went wrong and what worked. And to do that, we write playbooks and experiment docs, and they're all available on our website, so you can come to me afterwards and I'll give you them. And the other day I came across this quote, and I really like it because it's very fundamental for how we work at Founders. Because at Founders, learning from our failure is a very essential part of our platform. It's a way for us to know what doesn't work. And then also for each company we build, we get better and smarter, and most important of all, we don't lose our enthusiasm. So this presentation is not about a channel that didn't work and one that worked. It's more about what we learned from one startup and then didn't reinvest in our next startup. And then it's also about how we growth hack in a different way. Because with our early stage startups, we have almost 0 data to use. And in today's world, when you work with growth hacking, it's about basing all your decisions on numbers. And we simply don't have that kind of data to rely on. And to show some examples of what we learned, I will be sharing the 3 examples from our startups. And I'll just give a very short introduction to them now. One of the startups is Dixie. It's an accounting tool. And the second startup is Same State, and that's a customer support tool. And the third one is an HR tool, and the company is called Wonderwork. Sorry. So I'll just jump right into it. The first learning is based on what we learned from defining positioning statements at our company Dixie. And your positioning statement is one of the most important sentences you have to create, because it's that one sentence that will convince your customers or people why they should buy your product. But as I already said, for early stage startups, we don't have that much data to rely on, so we need to base it on our gut feeling about what we think that our customers might want, and what we think that their pain points are. So that's also what we did with our startup Dixie, but it didn't turn out that well as we hoped. At least we didn't get any signups from our website, so something was wrong. So we started to do some research on best practice for defining positioning statements, and we soon realized that we needed a more structured approach for how to define them, and also in order to get a better starting point when we were launching our early stage startups. And we got some good inspiration from Intercom and their way of working with the job to be done framework, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. Yeah. And it's, in short, it's about that you need to focus on your product's benefits instead of focusing on its features. Because customers, they don't want products, they want solutions to their problems. So that's also what we did with Dixie, and we managed to focus on the job, on its benefits instead of the features, and ended up focusing on how simple and efficient it was to work with your bookkeeper instead of focusing on this all-in-one platform that we started to focus on. And by focusing on the benefits instead of the features, we increased our conversion rate with 46% in 4 weeks. So that was pretty good compared to our starting point. So the main learning here is to focus on your product's job to be done. People, they don't want products, they want solutions to their problems. And the second learning is one we did on top of the positioning learning. So it's about when you have defined your positioning, you need to find out if you really nailed it or not. And that can be done in many ways. The way we did it with Dixie was to test different positionings on Facebook. So we ran 7 Facebook ads with the same image but with different headlines, because we thought that by finding the best performing ad, we would also find our final positioning. So we just used the best performing ad copy and put it on the website. But it didn't really change anything. The number of signups were the same, and yeah, so there was again something wrong that we needed to learn from and store in our platform. So what we should have done instead was to go out and talk to people as soon as possible as we had the positioning and the landing page done. So the next time that we had to test positioning for our startup same state, we went all in on talking to people. So what we basically did was to show them the landing page and also our product. We showed them some product demos. And then we just asked them about how they perceived our product, if they could resonate with it, was it even relevant to them, and did it match with their pain points. And out of that, I think we talked to around 100 people. And we stopped talking to people when we didn't learn anything new, because that's when we knew that we were on the right track with our positioning. So it sounds super simple that you should just talk to your customers, but yet we tend to forget it every time, because it's something that keeps showing up when you read about positioning statements. And it's also something you can use for other things. So it's also when you have a new website, you can also go talk to your customers and see what they think, because at the end of the day, it's the one that you're selling it to, and customers are like living positioning generator machines, and you should really take advantage of that. And the third and the final learning is it's about how to, we already talked about that you should talk to people, but how do you find the right people and how do you reach out to the right people? This is what the third learning is about. And you can find and reach out to people in many ways. You can do it in the qualitative way or in the quantitative way. And the qualitative way of reaching out seems most obvious, because we all want quality leads. But on the other hand, time is also money. We don't have unlimited time of searching for the right people. And we already learned from our startup Dixie that this mass outreach method, where you just reach out to a big list of emails that you're not quite sure if it's the right people you're reaching out to, but you're just reaching out and hoping that someone would bite on, that it didn't really work. So instead, we should invest all our time in focusing on finding the right lead and the right trial users and reach out to them as personal as possible. So we did that with our company Same State. So we spent a lot of time on focusing on our ideal customer profile. So who was it that we exactly wanted to reach out to? And based on that, we built a big list with relevant companies and people we wanted to reach out to. And instead of reaching out via cold emails, as we did with Dixie, we reached out via LinkedIn. So we sat down with our big list with, I think it was 300 companies, and we just started to invite them on LinkedIn. And then once they accepted, we started the dialogue with them. And it was very time-consuming to search for every single person, especially when we knew that we could just press one button in Reply app or MailChimp and then send the same message to 2,000 people. But it really paid off, and to begin with, we reached out to 20 people in 1 week, and then the week after we already had 6 interviews. So that was pretty good for us. So from now on, when we reach out in the beginning at our early stage startups, we only do it via LinkedIn or warm introductions. At our most recent startup, Wonderwork, we have in 1.5 months, we have invited 150 people on LinkedIn, and we have already booked 15 meetings. So that's a pretty good conversion rate for our early stage startups. Again, it's also super simple learning that you have to go after the quality leads, but it's also something that we tend to forget. So that's the main learning here, that spend time on finding the right leads and then reach out to them as personal as possible, whether it's via LinkedIn or warm introduction or a super personal email. It really pays off your time. And that was a quick one because I'm already here with my main takeaways. So number 1 is to focus on your benefits instead of your features, because people, they don't want products, they want solutions to their problems. And number 2 is to talk to people about your product. How do they perceive it, and so on. It's really valuable, and they are super honest, so you will really get to know the truth about what you built. And number 3 is to invest time in finding and reaching out to the right people. And that was all from me. And if you have any questions, you can just ask now or afterwards. I'm here the whole evening. So, yeah.